Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the only show on the internet that matters. It's Preston Can't Play. We're mid-conversation talking about the YouTube drama between ProJared, Heidi, and Holly. And at this point, we've been talking about it between episodes to quite the extent, but right now we're just talking about some of Peanut Butter Gamer's response after he got dunked on for his response to Heidi's initial response. So we're in the paint kind of deep right now. If you're not familiar with a lot of this stuff, just look up ProJared.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
YouTube
articles
drama
covering it right now.
Yeah.
But you're coming in media res.
Yeah. Anyway, so just to follow up with what I was saying.
Yeah, sorry, I was
No. You were right to do that. We were going to. What I had observed was that he seemed like he was being surprisingly vocal about it in a way that wasn't like, I want what's best for everyone, and like, these parties have my support. You know what I mean? Like, the thing that Gerard posted was very good.
Yeah.
And also sort of indirect and non-confrontational, which I think what you said is correct. That is the best way to handle it.
Yeah.
But whereas
he's not stoking any flames, he's just like, hey, here's the positive thing we could be focusing on instead.
Whereas, like, I feel like what I've seen was that Peanut Butter Gaming was sort of commenting directly and just being like, nah, dog, like, about it.
Oh, really?
Which probably is maybe twofold, if I'm remembering correctly, in that, like, he's maybe trying to save his own ass from his gaffe.
Yeah.
But also, like, having more information is just kind of like maybe more unashamed to just call bullshit on bullshit.
Who's he calling bullshit on?
Jared.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're buds, so he'd initially sprinted into Jared.
If I'm remembering correctly. I mean, this was days ago.
I hope he's changed his narrative. I am given to understand he changed his narrative, but after he made that post on Heidi's, I unfollowed him on Twitter and I haven't checked his shit.
I feel like I saw, like, after Jared made his last confession about all the bullshit about how everything is Heidi's fault, my recollection is that Peanut Butter Gaming jumped on that and was just like, hey, like, that sucks, and like, your narrative is false, like, kind of calling him out for that kind of stuff. I might be remembering incorrectly, but
that'd be nice if some of his friends seeing all this stuff come to light were like, oh, hey, maybe there is more information.
Yeah. Well, that's what you'd hope, right?
Yeah, PBG's one in particular, like, in the past, he's had a pretty good response to YouTube drama, so I'd hope that he would reassess it.
I mean, I can certainly understand, like, you know, if something came out about, like, you know, your bud, that your gut reaction might be to defend your bud in an absence of the full story.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a YouTube celebrity, maybe relax on that until you've got the full story. But
yeah.
Like, as a person, I get it. You know?
Yeah.
I might do the same. Then, like, divorce is complicated. All that stuff is, you know, it's not black and white, right? Like, you kind of have to.
Yeah, they're not getting divorced because of this one specific thing that happened this one time.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot of shit going on.
Right, and if you don't know the full scope, of course you're going to be like, no, like, I've got my guy's back.
Yeah.
But then you learn, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to have your back.
Then you learn that your guy's back is also the guy who's, like, maybe soliciting nudes from minors. So, not maybe. He did that objectively. Yeah. He's done that.
Right. Yeah, man, I don't get it, man. I was really, like, fumed, and I was having a physical reaction about it the day after I read that, just because, like, it just bugs me, like, how these seemingly unassuming dudes, like, get internet famous on YouTube, and then it's like they're soliciting news from people,
they're leveraging the power they have.
Yeah.
People much younger than themselves who are going to be more impressionable.
Or like the stuff with, like, Tron and PewDiePie, where they're either, like, openly admitting to being shitty racists, or they're using shitty racism to, like, be edgy.
Yeah. Or just dropping it casually and acting like it's not a big deal.
Right. Like, any of those things. Like, at what point in becoming in your internet fame does that stuff just, like, click in your head to seem okay? There was a guy that used to work for What Culture.
Which culture?
What Culture?
Where culture?
Which is, I mean, it's, I'm sure most people know about it, particularly if you're watching on YouTube. It's a very big YouTube channel. It's just like pop culture stuff. And he used to be on their wrestling channel specifically, Adam Blampier. And he was my favorite of their personalities. He had really good analytics or analysis, I should say. He used to do these video series called How WWE Should Have Booked, or How WWE Should Book. And he would just like go through these like really elaborate fantasy booking scenarios for either past events or current events. Really, really interesting stuff. And then he dipped out. Some of the guys from What Culture left to make this new channel called Cultaholic. And he went to go do that, but like almost immediately it came out that he had been soliciting nudes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much immediately separated from the channel. And like he like as soon as it came out, and like it would not only like people on the internet, but like people like in his office, like women in his office, he had like mistreated in this kind of way. You know, his reaction was like after this came out was,
oh fuck, fucking hate this
like
mission.
I've been doing this for a while. I sort of like lost control of myself and all the like fame and
You just dropped her off a plane
and like celebrity of doing this YouTube stuff, and like I was sort of acutely aware that what I was doing was wrong, but also like I became addicted to it. And like now that like it's just public knowledge, I'm completely shamed. I'm stopping. I'm not going on YouTube anymore. I'm starting therapy next week, and like we'll see what happens. And he was off the internet for like,
just people who are that detached to not realize what they're doing is nasty and wrong.
it's crazy. And he and then he put up a video like 6 months later that was just like, I'm doing great. I've like reached out to a bunch of people that I mistreated. And I've learned a lot in therapy about like what I was doing, and you know, how all that stuff, how that came to pass, and what's wrong with me. And like, thank you for holding me accountable. I needed someone to do that. I wish I didn't, but I did. And like, I'm not coming back to YouTube. Like, this is a chapter of my life that I think is done because I can't handle it. Like, I don't want to have that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess that's I think probably
No,
the
I got
best.
Uncharted 3. Oh, sorry, spoilers. Are you that far
Damn
yet?
it. No. I guess it's like the best thing that you can do in that situation is just be like, I don't deserve to have this fame anymore, so I'm giving it up. I'm like just going back
I
to
had my
regular
chance.
life. Yeah, really. Like, I identified that I like squandered this opportunity by being shitty. So like, a lot of people have been very supportive, and I thank you very much. But like, I just flat don't deserve this, and I don't want to be in a position where I can abuse it. So like, I guess that's good, but like,
I can't be trusted.
right. But I just don't,
Take away my
I just don't
toys.
get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I guess
I
you
just
can never
don't-
like truly understand it until you live that level of fame with that amount of power, because that's kind of like the Louis C.K. defense of like, well, I didn't realize that, you know, people were just saying yes to me because I was famous and they thought I had this power over them. Why aren't you pausing, game? I asked you to pause and you just aren't doing it. Where like, I cannot conceive of being in a place in my life where I could not be aware of asking people to do sexual acts where I'm in a very much position of power pressures them into those sexual acts. I can't imagine like having that much of a disconnect to not realize that that's a sick and gross thing.
that just, it seems like a level of disassociation that is
Yeah, that's more than just you're famous.
real. Like,
That's
it's
you're famous and
it's
you've got some.
that's like, it's a mental health issue.
You need some therapy, bud.
But like, I guess that's what it is. I mean, that's something that you're predisposed to, you know, a weakness that you're predisposed to having for some other reason, that like, because you become famous, it enables you to enact on it or to act on it. I just don't get it. I just don't like. I just don't
Well,
like.
how much of it is...
I suppose I'm thinking about it from like the perspective of like a rational person.
Well,
where like
no,
I'm who I am, and then eventually I get to the level of internet fame where I'm like, you know what, I could probably get away with.
Well, how much of it is sincerely, I didn't realize what I was doing was gross, and how much of it is just that's the apology they came up with after the fact? Like,
What else can you say? Yeah, I knew I was doing shitty stuff, and I
Right.
could get away with it, and now I can't, and I'm being held accountable. So
it's the only way they can hope
I
to
guess
like
it's
recover
over.
is to be like, well, I didn't realize what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
You knew what you were fucking doing.
Right.
You can come at us with that being your excuse, but yeah, there's no way you're that detached from reality to not realize that like what you're doing is nasty.
Yeah.
You're just coming at it with an excuse.
It's weird.
And in the example of that guy you're using of getting off of YouTube, yeah, he better be off fucking YouTube.
Yeah.
He's done. He had
Right.
his chance and he's done.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. better be getting booed off stage. He had his chance and now he's done. There are other YouTubers, there are other actors, comedians that can take that space that they're vacating.
Right.
They had their chance to use it responsibly. They did not do so. So they're done.
Right.
No amount of, I didn't realize what I was doing was wrong, should grant them a second opportunity.
Yeah. Correct.
Back to your old self, are we?
Well, that's that, I guess. Just follow that thread as far as it's gonna go.
We've gone in deep.
Yeah. But I think
Men
we're
are
in
trash.
We're,
Men are a fucking tragedy.
we're in agreement on that. I think that's that.
I've noticed.
But yeah, I feel bad for Heidi.
No need
That sucks.
to take out your stress on me.
I don't know her last name
It's clear.
because I only just
O'Ferrall.
become aware of her existence.
I think her online presence is Atelier Heidi. Hider.
Oh.
Yeah, so
you
catch
say
you up on the game.
Yeah, please. Also,
There-
like, I just want to observe, like, you just said that you're terrible at this level, and it seems like you're acing it.
I didn't say I was terrible at this level, I said I hate it. And that's because I died on it a lot of times before I realized you just need to run past the airship that's exploding around you. And now it's a lot easier.
Oh, okay.
And you also have to fight one of my least favorite mini bosses, which kind of bodied me, but I got through them.
Genie? Oh, you already did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, she's a challenging fight, but
right.
the other guys just punish you and then you lose half your health bar for missing out dodge or whatever.
Shitty. Yeah, so, all right, what's happening? You're on this airship.
There's been some revelations. They're talking about the eyes of the world, or eyes of creation, rather.
Do you like it when she calls
And I forget exactly how it came up, but Cereza said something about having Bayonetta realized that this jewel she'd been given was one of the eyes of creation. Mm-hmm. And Cereza's like, oh, you mean like this one right here? And so Bayonetta asks, where'd you get this? Well, I got it from you, Mommy, remember? And then Bayonetta has a flashback to
what are you, huh?
Cereza receiving this object from
If I'm wrong, but I think
Bayonetta's mother, who Bayonetta's seen in her flashbacks as being her mother. During that flashback, they kind of talk about the
I've known you.
Lumen Sages and the Umbra Witches. We're an Umbra Witch, but each of them having one of the eyes of creation, but essentially being as opposed as like the Catholic Church and the Satanic Church are, but each of them being trusted with one half of creation, because if one person had both, the world would be imbalanced.
Sure.
And I forget what they're discussing right now, but basically Bayonetta wanting to know more about the eyes of creation,
I do not need your help.
and Jeanne being like, oh, you should already know.
Oh.
Also, this is the first time I think that we see Jeanne actually fighting the angels that we've been fighting this whole time. It's kind of been clear that Jeanne's had her own ambitions, but I don't think before this has been confirmed that she's not working with the Lumen Sages at all.
Oh, okay. That is quite a plot dump.
Yeah.
Fill them.
Right? Like, the first 2/3 to 3/4 of this game are just, you have amnesia, Bayonetta. Why don't you remember anything, Bayonetta? And they are dropping like little hints here and there that at this point finally they're like, oh, all these little tiny hints we've been dropping, they all tie together, don't you see? But there's a lot of plot dump that's going on in this section of the game. This is a flashback or a voice she's been hearing a lot of times. No harm will come to you, my daughter. I'm watching over you.
Okay.
from some ominous voice. I don't know if the voice is supposed to sound very much like the angels, but it does sound very much like the angels.
But it's got weird kind of like body proportions, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm making this up or if it's something I've read somewhere that they were trying to sort of base a lot of her whole look off of like high fashion looks.
I guess that makes sense.
And like high fashion models who kind of tend to have very elongated
Yeah.
torso and limbs.
And also, not so much that, is just she seems like she's got a very small head for the size of her body.
Oh, really?
But I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Maybe you're the freak.
Maybe.
Okay. I always tried to use bullet time during these fights, but forget that it's not necessarily as reliable.
She's got some hit points, huh? Jeez.
A little bit.
Much more than you do.
Wow. Andy talks shit, huh? Sorry, did you want to try?
Oh, you're doing fine.
Fine, he says.
I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
see if I get a pause in
I don't
here.
really have any way of knowing.
I'm so sweaty. We got all worked up talking about YouTube, and now I'm sweating about YouTube.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It is pretty warm.
No, I'm just sweating about YouTube.
Oh.
I think too much about YouTube sometimes, and I start to sweat. Hey, YouTube, can you call me? I think I'm sweating, and it's because of something you've done. Please help.
Oh.
Sincerely, Chuck Cowboy, the closed caption hero, Tom Mitchell.
Sincerely.
One of my favorite portmanteaus.
It is
Sincerely
it's
and
very good.
Revengeance are the two best ones.
I've never heard Sincerely before. I quite like it.
I'm not positive that I didn't make it up.
Nice.
Oh, now
Whoa.
we're fighting. Now we're fighting fucking Wario. Jesus Christ! Fly me to the moon. Blah blah blah
Whoa.
blah 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 blah.
This is very busy.
There's a lot going on. That's this game definitely benefits from being
Yeah.
available in higher resolutions.
Ugh.
Just because there's so much to keep track of, and I think
Yeah.
Platinum Games gets better about managing their narrative space, narrative visuals.
Oh god, how
What's
come
the
you don't
trick
have a
for
motorcycle
Batman?
or anything? Turn that
don't
hair
know.
into a motorcycle.
I can be a kitty cat.
It doesn't seem as effective.
Wow. Truth come out.
I don't know. Could be wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't seem.
Not everything is as it seems. I have like no memory of this fight too, which is a challenging thing to come into this fight with.
You seem like you're doing well.
Well, I blew up motorcycle.
You're getting hits.
Taun explode motorcycle.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm taking
Whoa.
damage. Yeah, with the wind and like what I assume might be
Just-
like rain and hail.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Effects.
like distracting effects on the screen.
You truly are, Preston. You're so right. You really hit the nail right on the head every time you swing.
I just
You know
wanted to
that?
call it. I just call it like I see it. You know.
Wow. And like these fights are supposed to be very challenging. Is anyone talking shit right now?
No. You want to give this another shot
Do I
on the
want to
next
sweat just
chilling one?
forever?
You want to just take a second and cool down?
on the next chilling installment of Prep? Taun can't.
Taun can't prep.